Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sonic. No. Welcome to CLX Foundry Live, where we go deep inside customer builds and assemble them from the ground up. I am your host, DJ BluePDX, and of course, with me live in our studios at CLX, it is Paul Steffens, our lead technical expert, and today's master builder, it's Zack Killingsworth. Hi, guys. Hello. We have an exciting day today. We're back on the green, back here on the front page over on Kick, and definitely loving it. But today we've got something really, really special to announce, and that is going to be the winner of our incredible PC bundle giveaway with Kick and Beacon. As you can see right back there, that sweet machine is going to go home with one lucky winner today. And even more importantly, they're also going to be getting a Beacon mix crate and a Beacon mic, which is incredible. So there we go. We'll be announcing that a little bit later in the show. But first, let's jump into a very cool build that's there. It is. There. Look at that. Look at that gorgeous beast. That is a brand new NV7 case, and it is loaded, absolutely loaded with all sorts of great stuff. So you'll definitely want to sit back and relax and wait to find out who is going to be winning that sweet machine. And then we're going to go ahead and get started right now with Michael from Missouri, who's got a really special custom painted build. So let's take a look at it.
Yeah, so starting out, we've got a Evolv X that has been custom painted here. Really like this design, really glad to be able to show off some of our paint designs on the show. So this is our blue Hematite. And you can see.
That's gorgeous. Look at that.
Top. This thing just looks beautiful.
Wow.
There we go.
That is so that's so smooth. You're right. That is automotive paint.
Yep, automotive paint.
That has got
automotive clear.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, so
absolutely incredible.
All right, so everything going inside this. Sorry, DJ.
Oh, you're good. Keep going.
All right, so going inside this for our processor, we've got Intel i9 12900KS. We've got Enermax 360 AIO to cool that. For our motherboard, we've got the ASRock Z790 Steel Legend Wi-Fi. This is the DDR5 version. We have a 2 terabyte Samsung 970 EVO NVMe M.2 drive for our main drive. And then for secondary storage, we've got a Western Digital 4 terabyte hard disk drive. We do have an RTX 4070 going in this. We've got a Creative Labs Sound Blaster sound card, EVGA 850 watt GT 80 plus gold power supply with some custom blue and black Cablemod sleeve cables for this. So really excited to get into this. This build is going to look great. Absolutely awesome.
I'm seeing a lot of people comment about the case and how gorgeous it is. And honestly, that's spectacular. By the way, if you see or hear any terminologies you're not quite familiar with, or you see somebody doing something that doesn't quite make sense to you, please feel free to ask. We are always down to answer as many questions as possible, and we're delighted to help make sure that we can provide that information for you. Now, this is not some people. I'm already going to figure some people are going to ask this question, so I'm just going to jump right in on it. So when it comes to the custom paint jobs, how are those designed, and how many different options are there?
Yeah, so we have a lot of different options and a lot of different designs. You can check all those out at our website. But basically, we come up with the design, and then we have a custom painter, Dave, here. He used to do custom paint jobs on motorcycles, and so now he does them on computers. So our design team works with him. We do a couple test runs, make sure it looks good. And then we hit it with the paint. We only use automotive paint here and automotive clear, so really curing the clear coat on it, that gives it that nice finish. That really is kind of the longest part.
Nice. Welcome in, everybody. Glad to see so many familiar faces. And yes, it is another Steel Legend. We're obviously familiar with this board. We actually love this board. It is a great board. Lots to talk about in it too. Now, this case is obviously just a little bit different than some of the other ones we've used. And instead of it being a 3/4 design, as you can see from the back right here, this one has the motherboard sitting basically almost at the exact back of the case.
Yeah. Yeah, so whereas the cases with the 2/3 design where the motherboard sits, 2/3 in, the power supply goes in the back and some other stuff, this case, all of our stuff is in the main body, and then we have this power supply shroud right here. I'm just going to rotate this a hair, Zach. So we have this whole power supply shroud that covers us up. So you'll be able to see the model of power supply in this little window here. Then our hard drives will be down below here as well.
Awesome. All right, we're going to get those default fans out of there. Now, the custom paints are different than the printing. So,
correct.
What is the difference between the two of those?
Yeah, so with the printer that we've used a lot on this show, we've done a lot of designs with that. That is a UV printer. So really we have to come up with the designs and then get our panels and everything calibrated to print, and then pretty much hit print, and it does its thing. As long as we've calibrated it correctly, you know, you can kind of hit print and walk away. It does take some time for that to go, but with our custom paint jobs, these are all hand done. These take a lot more time to do. So we actually will sandblast down all the metal, get it a really good surface, prime it, then do the design, do all the paint, and then obviously you have to put the clear coat on. So these paint designs do take a lot more time than the printer does, but obviously the finished product is just amazing.
We do have a couple of questions already coming in. Yeah, so when you make these builds, they're for someone who bought them, or you make them first and then sell them. Yeah, I really did cover that. And just for anybody who didn't quite see that in chat, yes, these are actual customer builds.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Just gonna make chat a little bit bigger for us. There we go.
There we go. Yeah. I was just looking at the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we've got 10 fans going in this thing today, and so we're gonna probably. Are we going to be using pulling those back plates off the case?
No, so those plates are actually to route the cables. You can take them off for extra hard drive storage,
gotcha.
but we'll be doing a push-pull on our radiator here. So that's
nice.
how we'll put
Finally,
all 10 in. Mm-hmm.
Finally another push-pull. That
Yeah,
makes
it's
me
been a
very
while.
happy. Okay, getting back into our ASRock Z790 Steel Legend Wi-Fi. This, of course, is a DDR5 board.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the really cool things about this, as you can see through the plastic once he pulls it out, there's a little S over there on top of that Northbridge heatsink. And it's actually clear. The whole thing lights up from the inside, and you can see down inside that actual heatsink, which is really cool.
Yeah, the RGB glows through there. It looks really nice.
Getting all that foam off.
Yeah, it's kind of unique with these higher end boards. The foam comes like zip tied through the motherboard mounting holes to the foam.
Right, right. They're very secure and want to make sure it stays there.
Yep.
One of the cool things to note about this board is the unique use of camo designs, not only on the PCB, but also on the actual board elements itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes there are some devices that I will actually leave the clear plastic on top of just for protection. Like my touch screens on my DJ gear still have the plastic piece, the clear thick screen protector that it came with, because it works. But I'd rather, like, until that becomes destroyed, yeah, keeping it there. Now let's talk about what's in your hand right there, Zach. This is actually an i9 12900KS, as in Sam. So what signifies making it an S series?
So the S stands for special edition. So Intel every now and then will have a special edition of usually their higher end processors for whatever generation it is. And usually what comes with that is just very high clock speeds. It's a very solid processor. So this processor has a base speed of 3.4 and it will boost up to 5.5 right out of the box. So that's
Jeez.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a 16-core, 24-thread processor. So 8 of those cores are performance cores, which have hyperthreading, and the other 8 are efficiency cores.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely incredible.
It's always nice to see a special edition come through.
Yeah, and of course the Steel Legend's got some really impressive ways of augmenting and increasing or providing connectivity for that, and we've got tons of space on here. Multiple different M.2s. You've got, of course, PCIe 3, 4, and 5 here. You take a look at that. You can see we've got the 2.5 gig, the Dragon LAN port right there. Multiple 3.1s, 3.2s, including a 3.2 by 2 down at the bottom with the USB-C.
All right, so we're getting our AIO out of the box here, and Zach is going through the bags of hardware. So like we talked about previously on the shows, your AIO is going to come with quite a few pieces of hardware, as you can see there, and you just want to make sure you're grabbing the right one for the chipset that that you have for your motherboard.
And so just to answer your question, blah, 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 blah. We're going to be announcing that a little bit later in the show. I think I actually got all of the blahs, actually.
Nice.
Tashio, how's it going? Carly, cutie pie in the house. What's up? Awesome. Now, for this AIO, we're going to be using an Enermax, and I love Enermax. I think it's just a gorgeous and well-functioning AIO. But today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Obviously, we're going to be doing a push-pull. However, we're also going to be doing that with some different fans that we have not really used a whole lot here. So let's talk about those.
Yeah,
they're
so
Halo
I'll get some of these
RGBs.
out. Yes, these are Phanteks RGB fans. Now, when we first got these, I had never seen a fan with RGB like this. So you can see I've got the fan right here. We've got a short fan cable. And what this has is another end here. So these will all daisy chain together. And then for the RGB, grab this out. There's actually a Halo cover that goes on top with a separate RGB connection. So I think we were first kind of like, I don't know about this, but these fans perform really great, and the RGB does look nice. So
Awesome. Well, I'm excited.
So the fan will, this is our RGB, and this will sit on top of our fan like this, and then we'll screw it in.
Oh, okay. So it can be placed on either side. That way you've got great lighting no matter which direction the fan is blowing. Gotcha. That makes so much more sense.
Yeah, it's a little, it's still a little weird to me that it's like two separate pieces, but once you get it in, it's fine. So while Zach's prepping that radiator, I'm going to go ahead and start getting all this fan, all these fans as ready as they can be.
Now, for those of you who might not know what an AIO is, it stands for all-in-one. It is a liquid cooler. It's a self-contained liquid cooler. Was there anything else to note about the Enermax version of the coolers?
So really, the only difference when you're looking at different AIOs is going to be the pump block. So there's just a little bit difference in here just in design. This still has RGB on there. This does not come with thermal paste pre-applied. So you can see Zach had just put thermal paste on there and pulled the plastic piece off the copper. Sometimes you can miss that, and then you'll notice it when you turn your system on. It's running way hotter than it should. So I guess, yeah, if I could give one tip for installing an Enermax cooler, it would be pull the plastic off that copper plate.
Yep. Yes, the more stickers on your car, the faster you can go.
True.
Same thing with RGB. The more RGB, the more XP you get. No, wait, is that how that works?
The Enermax mounting hardware definitely takes the longest to install.
And why is that?
It's the way their bracket works. So each AIO has a different bracket mounting hardware that's pretty much proprietary to that brand. So there isn't really a universal standard that's just like, use this bracket for this chipset. They all come up with their own ways. Enermax just, I don't know, they just haven't come up with a really efficient way of making one, I guess. But it does work fine once you get it all in there. It just takes a little bit longer to install.
There we go. Let's do that. I'm going to pin that right there. Perfect.
Got my glove already.
Okay.
Okay, come down.
So we had a question come up. Have you ever had an accidental fire during the initial startup?
Yeah, that does
Good
happen.
question.
Yep. You know, we build a lot of computers here, so that does happen. So usually you always catch that stuff on startup. Sometimes it happens in testing though when you get things going. But typically you've got, I don't know, the ones that I see the most is where a fan wire has a short in it, and then it just kind of lights up that whole thing. Is that the main one you see, Zach?
Yeah, I had that happen last week. It does happen. Sometimes it's just like the problem on mine that I had was like a manufacturer defect. Is like they had a solder point, and it wasn't soldered properly, so power was going through like the whole frame of the fan, not just like to an LED. Okay. So that was a little bit of an issue, but like full-blown fires it's more of just poofs of smoke.
Yeah, it's usually a puff of smoke, a really bad smell.
Yep, a really bad smell, and then you've got the warehouse being like, do you smell? Do you smell something? Yeah. And we're trying to figure out to make sure that there is literally not a fire.
Yeah, and you're like, could someone verify that it's been found and it's off?
Yeah, and then someone will yell out, "We're good," and then you're good.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see here. I also have had a PSU, a power supply catch on fire once, and it was because I had a too small of a power supply and was just working it way too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can.
Let's hear it. Can people from the Netherlands win? Yes. There we go. So Zack asked a decent question. What makes a gamer? I'm going to say, in my opinion, as somebody who's, does this for a living, somebody who actually plays for the enjoyment of gaming.
I agree with that.
Just for the joy of the experience.
But if it doesn't fit, then we'd have to cross everything over.
Okay.
So I think I'll just
I think a front mount's good.
Do a front. That would be because we'll have the big hole.
Damon of Sin says, I blame my father for playing with the insides of a PC. It has since been banned, and he is not allowed to open a PC or touch the insides anymore. Awesome. Yo, Nemanaj hosted with 17 viewers. Thank you so much for the host. Welcome in, everybody.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
Welcome,
that is awesome.
Everybody.
Welcome to CLX Foundry Live. We do this every Tuesday here, and of course Thursdays over on Twitch. It's always starting at 11 a.m. Pacific. That's 2 Eastern, and we build all sorts of PCs, everything from giveaway PCs to customer PCs. It's a lot of fun. So welcome. Thank you. That's cool. Heyo. Yes, welcome. And of course, salute from Italy. Hi. Welcome. We we are building this for a gentleman named Michael in Missouri. As you can see, the M.2 shield just got popped off. We're going to be putting in our primary hard drive. That is going to be a 2 terabyte Samsung 970 Evo Plus NVMe M.2 SSD. If you have any questions about anything you might hear us say today, please make sure you ask, because we're definitely here to answer your questions. How much this PC would cost that is being built? This PC right now comes in at $3,600, just a little over $3,600, $3,604. So,
see Mr. Dad from KC. Hello.
Never thought I would see live sportscasting with PCs. Yes, that's what I do. There we go. Get that solid click in there for the RAM. Now, this is great RAM right here. This is going to be this is Geil. We've got two 16-gig sticks of DDR5-5200. It's pretty fast RAM. In fact, that's absurdly fast RAM. So, what's the speed range difference between DDR4 and DDR5?
Yeah, so what we're typically seeing with DDR4 right now is 3200 to 3600 speed. Now, the thing to remember is DDR4, when it came out, it was 2133. That was the base speed, and most people had 2400. So with DDR4, 3600 is, I believe, the fastest that I've seen. There might be a couple niche cases that are a little faster than that, but that's pretty much as fast as you can go. Whereas DDR5, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the base speed is on DDR5, but maybe 5,000? 4800?
Yeah, 48 is the lowest number.
So, but typically we're seeing, you know, 5,000, 5,200. Yeah. We have seen some 6,000, so it's just way faster. And that's usually what happens when the next generation of memory comes out. It's the same thing when we went to DDR4 from DDR3.
Mm-hmm. So here's a different question. Can you put DDR4 RAM into a DDR5 board?
You cannot. So
it will not work.
Yep, it will not work. There's actually a little notch cut into the memory. So if you look at the pins that go in, there's a notch there, and that's what's going to make it fit or not fit. Now, with DDR3, that notch was way offset, so it was very easy to tell the difference between DDR3 and DDR4. However, with DDR4 and DDR5, they've put that notch very close to the same position, so it's a little bit harder to tell just from looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking because I'm trying to think about getting some upgrades done to my streaming PC because it's starting to fall apart on me. And so, yeah, I'm wondering, you know, what RAM I do have, and I'm assuming it's DDR4, and seeing if I can just part things out from my other PC to it.
Oh, yeah.
DJ is Dana's cousin. Let's hear. DJ Blue looks like Dana White. I don't know who that is, but I'm definitely going to look it up.
You know who Dana White is? UFC?
Oh. Yeah, I know who he is. I take that as a compliment. Thank you. Although I feel like he's a little thicker than I am. Like, the guy's got some bulk to him. He could probably bench me.
Oreos.
Yeah.
Dundee Blur, thank you. Welcome. How's it going? Yeah, he's the UFC owner. Gotcha. He's a lot richer as well. You're not wrong, Stu. You're not wrong. Yeah. So welcome in. We've got a lot of new faces in here. I'm very happy to see this. Yeah, and I have to agree with what Damon said. Like sometimes when you have a bad experience with a specific line of products, it can be a little bit of make you a little standoffish about it. I have certain things that I just won't use or do or deal with. When it comes to equipment, there's certain things like, for example, I prefer to only game on Intel. I prefer to only like when I'm doing music production and when I'm doing when I'm streaming, my streaming rig is all AMD, and that's just personal preference because that's what I like. So, you entered the giveaway a little late. Well, here's the thing. All you have to do is have one entry because all it takes is one. All it takes is one. So interesting to switch between them?
Okay.
Yeah.
Boom.
All right.
I like that.
All right. Now, taking a look at this, let's talk about what you just did with these and why. We see the cap on top, and this is going to be pulling the air through. So we haven't got the other side done yet.
Yes. So
walk me through how this set.
Paul and I were discussing a little bit on layout. So that's one thing that you really have to look at when you do start getting into, especially having a radiator. We've got one line of fans with RGBs caps on top of those, and once we add another run of fans, we've got a whole lot of thickness that we'll have to be dealing with. Now, I would usually try and mount it up on the roof, but if it's a little bit close, then we're going to have to mount it onto the front. But since we're push-pulling, we'll be able to just direct mount it onto the front, and it should be good to go from there. Just a little basic. I'm excited.
And so, just to cover, because I know we've kind of talked a little bit about it, but just so we're all on the same page with it. When it comes to the best ways for cooling or the different options for cooling your radiator, what are those?
So typically you've got two options, and that's going to be air cooling or liquid cooling. And air cooling is typically that block of metal with fins cut into it and a fan on top, and usually comes with some processors out of the box. The other way would be liquid cooling. So you either use an AIO like we've got here, or get into the open loops, which we do, that are custom designed. They do. There's a lot more labor that goes into those, but we bend the tubes and use all sorts of stuff. We did one with Hayden in the past, so if you want to check that out, we do have that in our pods.
We do have a hard drive, right?
Yes, we do have a single 4 terabyte hard drive.
So Ra is the Egyptian sun god. Just to answer your question, who is CLX Ra? Ra is actually a specific line of products. So if you head over to our website, you'll notice that you can pick from the side menu whether it says CLX Set, Scarab, Horus, Ra, or Hathor, and those are refer to the different sizes of the cases. So if you want a small form factor, that would be our Scarab line. And there's many different options you've got for the Scarab line. A mid tower is going to be our Horus, and of course our full tower is the Ra. And then of course our Hathor, that is our gaming and streaming dual PC, and it is a PC inside of a PC, which is awesome. So it's basically 2 PCs in one case, and that way you can game and stream all in one box. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
They're pretty sick.
Yeah, we've done a couple of those on the show too, so you can kind of skip through those and see what those look like if you're interested in that. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. I built one this morning.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions, it's fresh in my mind.
So blah 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 blah. The totally get that. As far as the winner goes, that is something that is way above my pay grade. So once they give me the information, then I can announce it. So, yep. Yeah. Is NASA a customer? Hedgehog, actually, I don't know. But if they were, I'm sure they would be happy with it. Yeah, no, basically the Hathor involves having an Intel NUC, which is a very tiny little supercomputer that is plugged in below the motherboard. It's a custom case, but you've got everything there. So your gaming PC with all of its hardcore, just raw stuff, your graphics card, your intense cooling solutions, and all of that is germane. And then down below there is a secondary, what they call a daughter board, and it's got the capture card and the NUC built into it. So you've got out and in, super easy peasy. Yeah. Yeah, it is mostly for streamers. Yeah. So like it would allow me, because right now I have 2 PCs, the one behind me, which is my baby, my new baby, thank you CLX, much love. And then I've got my streaming rig down here below me. But with a Hathor, I could have everything coming out of that one, and that's it. There are definitely some different use cases for it. So, but if you'd like to know more, definitely head on over to our webpage, clxgaming.com. Let's see here. Ensu asks. Okay. Sounds good. Blah 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 blah. Pepper pots. So this is actually closed. Okay, yeah, you got that answer. Okay, yeah, we've actually the cutoff was last night, and I think this is one of the first times that we've had a show on the 1st of the month, and announced it right literally day of, which is awesome.
This way.
Yeah, I game on this one, and then everything's produced down on this PC below.
Okay.
So, yeah, I know, right? It's August 1st. It seems bizarre that 2023 has gone past this quickly. What is a favorite case to build? Good question, guys. What is your favorite case to build in?
Mine is this one right here. I love the Evolv X. That's what I have for my personal rig at home. So I like this one.
Yeah.
I'm digging these guys right now too. We've been building just a bunch of stuff. But I just kind of like building everything. If it's new, that's what's really gonna get me. If I've built like 1,000 of them, then I'm kind of wanting on the next, the next mission. And we're getting there with the. I keep saying it wrong because I just want to say basilisk, but it's the obelisk.
Yeah, the obelisk. Yeah, the obelisk is really nice.
Yeah, that thing
One of the new cases we just launched.
Sweet looking.
Oh, really?
Sure.
I can't wait for us to get one of those going. You'd like to get the chance to build with the MV7. Honestly, the MV7s are so cool. They really are amazing.
Yeah.
Truly. I personally love the Leon Lee. So then that's the O11. That's what is right behind me. And that's an XL. But I'm definitely jazzed to hear about this obelisk. Is that a raw?
It's a set.
It's one of our sets. Yeah, we built one.
That's the set build.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's the new set. Yeah,
that's right.
There.
Okay.
Crisp look. Okay, that's how I want them in.
So if I remember correctly, those are they are
I just want to drop this
available. The obelisks are available at Amazon and Best Buy.
Cool.
So
okay, cool.
Yeah, there should be a few of the retailers out there that have it as well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Into the back.
The NZXT H7 Flow is one of the greatest cases. I'm not sure that I'm familiar with that one. I know people have brought it up before. H7 Flow. Let me take a look. Oh yeah, that is a beautiful case. Not gonna lie. It's a great case. I mean, if like, it does give me fish tank vibes, which is not a bad thing. Although it is unfortunate that you can't find a fish that'll live in mineral water, because then you could actually have fish in your PC if you did the mineral oil, the dip. Have you guys ever done a dip like that?
I don't think we've done one here in the shop. I have done one at my tech school, but that was so many years ago. It's something we've thought about, but I don't know. I don't know what we would do with it, you know?
Okay, that's the back.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine how you would ship it. Or would you ship it without it once you've proven that it's sealed?
Yeah, if it was something we were selling, we'd have to like ship it without the liquid. And then if it leaks, that would not be good.
Yeah, that would definitely be interesting. Okay.
So I'm getting our cables ready as Zach's finishing mounting that radiator. So really love these cables. This is gonna match great with the paint.
Dude, that's a thick
EPS is CPU, right?
EPS, yes.
Always have to ask.
Power systems. I can never remember the E.
Yeah, right. Electronic.
It's kind of where I'm at.
Something got the shocks.
Yep.
What's IT stand for? Individual technician.
Yeah.
I thought it was integrated technologies.
I think it's information technology.
Or information technology. There we go.
Individual technician coming to your house. You're answering that phone.
Yeah, stands for
Turn it off and on again.
It's a scary clown.
Right? Zombie Rain's over here like, y'all are talking about mineral oil filled PCs and the shipping department is in the background just crying.
True.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so now we've got this. Obviously, you can see the push-pull up there. So, Zach, compared to, because obviously we've got a different wiring situation here with these fans. How is that different when it comes to cable management for you compared to other fans?
So those 6 are plugged in already. If we want to look at a fan, so the way that these fans are is they don't have they don't have a long like cable to plug into a fan header. It's just this real short guy. So these are kind of like what we've seen with the new Lee and Corsair like click fans and magnetic fans, how they just kind of snap or click or lock together, and then they can easily be powered. This is kind of the same, only like basic, very basic, and I love it.
I like this.
Every time I've used these, I've gotten to like them more and more. But like you'll get that little bubble there, but for the most part, it's going to be on the back side of the system, so like the deep side of your system, so you won't really be able to see it. But like you see all those little pins right up there. That is an 8 fan controller. So I can plug all of these case fans, as long as it's a 4-pin or a 3-pin. I can plug fans into this guy here. So these 6 fans that I have plugged in up front are plugged into 2 headers. 3 fans on one header, 3 fans on another header, because of how they can daisy together this way. So makes it pretty nice to manage the cables, because you don't have a long cable to kind of work with. So
yeah. And Phanteks having the built-in fan controller is just really nice.
Yeah.
And because these are our Phanteks fans, all of these RGBs are going to be able to plug directly into the case RGB, so everything will be able to sync up and look real pretty, I believe. This blue paint job, it's going to look, I'm excited.
Now, I do want to point out something that you're holding on to there, Paul.
Yeah.
And these are really fun because these are custom, and these are our Cablemods. Cablemod sleeves, and this is the black and blues. So what makes this, what's different about this, and why are these awesome?
So what we like about these are obviously sleeved cables for our power supply. Now our power supply is fully modular, so it has its own cables that come with it. So this is more of just an aesthetic touch, but this will really take your system to the next level. This customer obviously cares about looks. He's got a custom paint job on it and went with custom cable kits. So these are really for looks, but it's just going to look so great. I love it when the cables match the paint. And so what I'm installing right now are the cable combs. And so you can see here, I've got 2 of them in there. And this way the cables just look really neat. So this is going to be plugged into our motherboard here, and it's going to be bent back and folded the case. And this just keeps all these cables straight so that it doesn't look like this on the other end.
Well, and we've got multiple different options for colors with our cables. Like I know that I have all white in mine, but we have solid colors. You have multicolored. There's bunches. I will say those combs really do make the cabling stand out. It looks nice. It looks clean. It's very organized.
Yeah. So yeah, they really take it to the next level. Honestly, they take a little bit of time to install, but it's worth it.
Goat's over here just slow clapping. The word of the day. Welcome to the show, Goat. Glad to have you here. Yes. So, okay. There we go. Okay. So since we've had so many people asking, and we're getting a little further on in the build process, I would love to say that I'm going to announce the winner right now, but I'm just going to pause dramatically for no apparent reason other than just do so. No, I'm kidding. Our winner is...
Here we go.
None other than Pa Diddy Sweezy. Pa Diddy Sweezy is a content creator and a writer for an incredible tech magazine. You can find Pa Diddy Sweezy right here on over on Twitch at Pa Diddy Sweezy and on Twitter at Pa Diddy Sweezy. Congratulations to Pa Diddy Sweezy. You have won yourself the incredible July giveaway, and it is our Kick themed Beacon CLX gaming machine. So not only is he going to win the PC, but he's also going to get a Beacon Mix Crate, which is basically, it's a brand new touchscreen mixer that you can route all of your sound through, your effects through, and he's going to get a Beacon mic as well, which is awesome. Plus, it's a special Kick theme machine. Now, granted, this person does stream on the Twitches, but you know what? They're going to have something. Maybe it'll be time for them to come over to Kick. Congratulations. Now, of course, our friend here is going to have to claim this within the next 24 hours. If it's not claimed in 24 hours, of course, there will be a redraw. So there you go. Congratulations once again. And a huge shout out and thank you to everyone at Beacon and Kick for helping us not only with this theme, but also with the extras. Our partners are absolutely amazing, and we're very happy to be there with them. Okay. Ta-da! I almost didn't. Now, see, now, now Goat's got it. Now's the clapping time. Oh, we will be doing, we're going to have that. So our August PC giveaway is coming up, and let's talk about a little bit. So for those of you who are here, so you understand the best way of getting as many possible entries into the giveaway. So the way this works is once we launch the giveaway, you know, you'll get the link and you'll be able to do the things with that. There's always going to be extra ways of getting in, and that includes, you know, the follows and subs, etc. But then there's going to be the bonus codes, and that's where you really get into it. We'll have bonus codes that are worth either 100 for a limited number of people or 200 for an unlimited number of people. There's a few different places you can find those codes when we're in the middle of an active giveaway. That's going to be on our social media. That's YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at CLX Gaming. You can jump over into our Discord as well, and sometimes we'll do little things there as well, and that's discord.gg/CLX Gaming. You can find them on our streams here at Kick, our Thursday streams on Twitch, and you can also find them on my channels on Kick and Twitch whenever I'm streaming. So all different places you can get hundreds upon hundreds of extra entries and up that ante, up that and increase that that chance, because all it takes is one. So there you go. It's going to be a lot of fun. This month is going to be a blast. Plus, at the end of this month, we've got PAX West coming up. So much is happening. GCX is actually this coming weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, GCX, I believe, is this weekend. So, and that's going to be down in Orlando. Giant games cons everywhere. Larks, have a good one. Means I have to try again. Hey, listen, you know, we love the activity and we love the dedication. But there we go. How do I join again? So Agent Doomsday, we don't have one on yet. We're gonna be kicking that off here soon. We will, of course, announce that on one of our live shows. So you definitely want to tune in on Thursday, which is going to be over on Twitch at 11 a.m. Pacific. That's just CLX Gaming TV over on Twitch. So, yeah. Kick for PC too? Yes, both Kick and Twitch. Your opinion on vertically? So, well, good question. Expectation met. So what is your opinion on vertically mounting GPUs, since a lot of cases offer you to do it?
Yeah,
good question.
I think they look great. I've never seen a vertically mounted GPU that I didn't like. So yeah, if that's something you want to do in your case, can do it by all means. You typically do need to have a ribbon cable that goes with that so that you can plug it into your PCIe slot. But yeah, I think they look great.
Nice. I don't know if we already installed the secondary drive, but I figured I would bring it up since we do have one. And so obviously we've got that 2 terabyte Samsung 970 Evo that is the operating system drive, and that's on that M.2. In addition to that, Mike's also going to be getting a 4 terabyte, 3.5-inch Western Digital Blue hard disk drive. And that is a big bad boy that's already in its case. It'll get mounted in there. Glitchy, yeah, check the pinned message at the top. Our winner was Pod Diddy Sweezy.
All right.
Let's see here.
I think we've got our combs on now.
Okay. So let's take a look at those combs. Can we get a close-up of those combs so they can kind of see the way that that changes for...
Okay.
There we go.
So
let's see here.
Yeah. So you can see the 24 pin that I was showing you right here, and I just grabbed a video card cable that we're going to be using as well. So yeah, it just makes these cables look all good. So if I show you the other end real quick, this is what it would look like. You're fine. This is what it would look like without cable combs. So like kind of twisted up. Still looks good as far as colors go, but the combs just add the nice finishing touch to it.
Zombie, this is special to the Evolv X. The
Yes.
P400s, P500s, 300s, 200s, those do not have it. Okay, I want that screw down first. 'Cause that was
There we go.
okay, right?
And the question that came in was from Zombie Rain asking, do all Phanteks cases have that, or is it something exclusive to this case? So yeah. There you go. Okay. Nice. Let's get those final things all locked in there. I will say something that I do like is there's not a big sticker on the front center of the fans. You notice that?
Yeah. And the white on there will actually reflect the RGB pretty nicely.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. I do like the fact that that ring that halo RGB can actually be attached to either side of the fan.
Correct.
Yeah, it's kind of genius. All right. And what are you working on back there, Zach?
Installing the RGBs.
Oh, that's right.
For the top layer here. I've got my topper off. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Empty top.
Oh.
So the whole top of this does come off, and that's what you're seeing in this shot right here. And that's where our fans will mount to. And then that will just go right back on top of the case right here.
Yeah. So it makes
That's
it
great.
easy if you're installing like a radiator or something up on the roof like that, then you can, if tied up right and done right, you can still get to play with it all tied up and everything. So
Yeah, there's only been a few times that I've taken the top off this Evolv X. Because most of the time, if I'm just putting fans on there, you just can slide them in there.
pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly, I forget that top can come off.
But I'm working, I've just, like with this, I've got to work ahead to make sure that my fans are in the right orientation, and then mount the RGB and make sure that that's in the right orientation. And then hopefully I don't mess it up when I flip it over.
Yeah. It's always like, flip it, look at it upside down, which way.
I think that.
And just for those people who might not know, what's the easiest way to determine which direction the air is flowing for the fan?
Yeah, so the easiest way to tell is look at the fan. You can see on the back of these fans here, you're kind of seeing the fan grill. So that means that's where the air is coming out of. So if you're looking at a fan and you don't see any of that, you just see the fan blades, nothing obstructing that. That is the intake. Also, some fans will have arrows printed on them, and these ones do. So we'll stay at this shot. I'll show you. This fan here has the arrows printed on there. So that shows you which way the air is going to flow through the fan and which way the blades are going to spin. So the blades on this will be spinning this way, and that will cause air to come in and out.
Perfect. Awesome. Zombie mentions that one of his favorite features of the Phanteks case really is the top comes off so handy. Yes. Yes, it does. My favorite thing about the Phanteks cases is the built-in Velcro restraints that they have for the cable management, which really allow you to aid in that. So that's fun.
Yeah, I really like that too in these cases. That's why I like building these. I feel like the type's pretty straightforward on them.
There we go. The other thing is the way that the cables are actually hidden on the back of the case. So there's, where you see that cable management right now, there's going to be two doors that actually will they're hinged, that will be able to just cover up all that, and so you'll still get to see the back of the board.
Yeah, it basically closes off. Closes off everything outside of this section here.
Yeah. Now, why is that important, and does that have anything to do with airflow?
So there probably is a little bit to do with airflow there and just keeping, things sealed off and better airflow, but really I think the main reason for it is just overall aesthetics. This back panel is glass, so you'll be able to see everything that's on here, and having those covers covering up the cables just makes both sides look really clean.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Okay. So, Zach, are there any hints or tips you'd like to give about best practices when it comes to cable management?
Yeah, so like with this case here, if we go to our overhead, I can show you really what I'm doing. So we've got our fan runs there, and then we've got these big kind of oval holes and some little straps. So that is where we can actually route our cables and then hide them underneath our little slots there, just like that. And
gotcha.
That's what allows it to where we can just remove this all as one piece. But usually when installing like fans and small cables like that, there's going to be kind of some smaller holes around the motherboard. That's what those are for. They might be like up against a corner of the case, and that's just a hole for quick cable management, so that you don't have cables going across the whole opening. What am I doing here?
Yeah, apparently the pin messages do sometimes will come unpinned periodically, so that is a thing.
Okay, please go back up. Go back up. Yes, that's how I want you.
There we go. That all put together.
We'll get this on the overhead so you can see the top go on.
So this really just sets down right on there. And I'm going to hopefully, yes. Hopefully that little, and it reaches.
Oh man.
Just
that is nice with these. There's like no cable left to worry about.
Yeah. That's perfect. Almost like the planet.
Yeah.
And if I can, what I will actually do is, because we can daisy these fans together, I will take my rear exhaust and I'll actually plug it into the first fan on the roof, and that will daisy the top four. Well, it'll be all of the exhaust fans will be all on one fan header, and then all of the intake fans will be on two fan headers. So that'll be pretty nice. I like that.
It's almost like the Phanteks fans were made for the Phanteks cases. That would make sense. Would make sense, absolutely.
Okay, there.
So let's see. Concept says
on the same side. I hope that's
y'all the ones that did the Kick versus Twitch custom build for the winners of the charity drive, right? Yes, we did. In fact, one of them is right over there, just behind Zach right now.
Yeah, that one.
That is one of the PCs. They're amazing.
This one right here.
Yep. And also, super big, huge shout out for BB Jess, absolutely killing it with an incredible charity. She's a superstar. Okay, so we're gonna have obviously 6 fans pulling in from the front, and then we will have a total of 4 fans exhausting out. Now, because it's a push-pull, does this contribute to the potential of it being a positive pressure environment?
Yeah, so this will be a slightly positive pressure here. With having the radiator in there, it kind of reduces it a little bit. So this will be very close to balance.
There we go. Yeah, I wasn't sure how that all worked. Since they're not independently pulling in fresh air, they're pushing it over. Yeah. Let's see here. That bot Ron asks, for a 3060, which power supply would be better?
So really, I mean, with 3060 doesn't require too much power. It's obviously going to depend on your CPU, but I'd probably go with a 750 watt. you know, with that. If you got a 3060, most likely you have a mid-range CPU. So I think 750 watt would be fine without knowing your other specs.
Come and see here.
Which part for streaming? Yeah, so it is, again, like to mention, it's going to be a little bit different for everybody. Nice. You're very welcome.
For sure,
and
Ron.
of course, if anybody who has questions, please feel free to ask. That is all that's what we love to do. We all love to do it.
We'll brainstorm with you.
Yeah.
Alrighty, that's plugged into there.
Lavisha says, I just did a new build and it turned out great for a 20-year-old hardware.
Hey, nice.
Well, as long as it works, that's what matters.
We did one of those. I think it just got uploaded to YouTube too. Our milestone build.
Our vintage build.
Yeah, the vintage build.
That's
It had
so
a
funny.
floppy disk reader. If y'all want to go check that out. And we had some underglow light bars in there. It was pretty cool.
Yep. It runs D4. There we go. There's right now there is no giveaway. Not yet. We're about to launch another one, but that's going to be coming up here in the next few days. So keep an eye out on our socials and in our Discord, and we will be sure to let you all know when that happens.
All right. RGB.
Mr. Biscuits that was a 20-year-old hardware and you're running D4. That's pretty impressive.
Dang.
Yeah. That's the really good hardware.
My not old hardware struggles a little bit on D4.
It is so weird to think that 20 years ago was 2003.
It is.
I think I spent so long just thinking, all right, 20 years ago was the 80s. Well, no, that was 40 years ago. Yeah, I know. How do I ban DJ from the video? Listen, Ivory. You can't.
All right. I like that.
I'll show it off my first day here. I just found you. Yeah. Well, and you know what? Labiscuitus. There we go. I think I said that right. Yeah, Labiscuitus. In our Discord, we actually have a show your rig section for you to be able to post things. So head on over to discord.gg/CLX Gaming. It's a great place to hang out with other like-minded PC enthusiasts. We love sharing the different builds, whether you're getting them from us or you've done it yourself. Let us know.
Yeah, I would love to see that, honestly. I've done a couple sleeper builds myself with some really old PCs with current hardware, so I would really like to see that.
Aragona, yes, this one is painted, and it is a beautiful, beautiful blue.
We've got our sound card going in now. That's what Zack's working with. So
let's talk about that real quick. So Michael in Missouri also chose to add on, because we have all sorts of different peripherals you can add on, and this is a Creative Sound Blaster Audigy FX. So it is a 5.1 channel PCI Express card, and it handles a lot of different things when it comes to audio. So if you are, if you're an audiophile, if you're using this for checking or editing video, if you're wanting to play in the latest and greatest of surround sound and don't want to task your motherboard with having to process it, a sound card is great. I have a sound card that I use for editing when I'm producing music. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good call.
S-Box says, which CPU is better, Intel or AMD when talking about performance?
Oh, that's the question right there.
NVIDIA.
NVIDIA, yeah, agreed.
EVGA NVIDIA.
What is it? Oh, man. Snapdragon.
Yeah.
Those ones. No, so that's obviously the question of the ages right there. Really, both are performing really well. It really comes down to your preference, what you plan on doing with your machine. But I mean, I really can't say a bad thing about either brand. I've been pretty much Intel. My first PC was AMD, and then when I got money, I was able to upgrade to an Intel machine. That's kind of how it was, Man, 8-9 years ago, Intel was more the high end and AMD was more the budget build, and really everything seems to be equalized now. The new Ryzen is honestly making me thinking about switching to a 7800X when I upgrade, but we'll see.
Strike Boy says, what up, DJ? Love you, buddy. Love you too, man. Happy Tuesday. Let's see here. Tank, how do you enter the giveaway? So once we get the giveaway goes live, there'll be a link that we'll have not only on our social media, but we'll put it into the Discord as well. We'll also have it as a command here on our stream, both here on Kick and on Twitch. And then once you get there, there's going to be it's a social media campaign through Surf, and you'll want to be able to follow the different accounts that it asks you to follow. And then also when we provide codes, those codes are going to be good for if it's not an unlimited code, then it'll be for the first number of people to get it within that limit. So I gave out 325 people codes on the last 3 days of the month. So yeah. Big country, hello.
The Steel Series boards are sharp.
I'm gonna go ahead and get our
I don't know why I read that as blue eyes and not blue yes. I'm apparently illiterate. There we go.
You want to play some Yu-Gi-Oh? That's what's up.
Yeah.
Blue eyes white dragon.
All right. So now we're getting over to our power supply, and let's talk about that. Now, this is a great one. I just love most of the things that this company makes. It's an EVGA Supernova. It's an 850 watt EVGA Supernova 80 plus gold power supply. Paul, tell us a little bit of the features about this power supply that kind of stand out to you.
Yeah, so this is fully modular and it's 80 plus gold. So what fully modular means, as I'm getting this out here, we talked about a little bit earlier, but none of the cables are pre-soldered into this. So you get this out of its plastic and I'll kind of show you how that works.
There we go.
So this is the power supply right here. It's this brick. We obviously don't have any cables coming out of it, like I mentioned. So you can see we've got these ports right here. I'll try to get this into focus. We're gonna get this camera set up. But basically, each one of these ports is labeled for the cables that are going into it. Now, you won't always, I don't know if I've ever seen a modular power supply that has all these cables used. So there will be a few that we're not using. But that's what's really nice with these is we can only plug in the cables that we need, use those for our system, and then we have less cables to manage. And if we ever upgrade and need those cables, we can just plug them in as we go. So that's what this is. So it does come with a whole set of cables, but we obviously have our black and blue Cablemod kits, so we're going to be using those cables instead of these.
Nice. Now, you may have already answered this, but my question is, as far as the versatility of these Cablemod kits, are there certain ones that are there only certain brands that they will work with?
Yes. So when you're buying a cable kit, you have to make sure that it matches the power supply that you have. So this cable kit right here is specifically for this power supply, and the reason is each power supply has different pinning on the power cables. So if you try to, hopefully, if you had the wrong cables, they just wouldn't plug into your power supply. But sometimes they do, and that could cause you to fry your power supply or the component that is plugged into.
Yep.
The more
and
you know.
that is also correct on regarding the Intel NUC. Yeah, they're not making the NUC directly. It's now going to be a third party. So there'll be EVG, like there could be EVGA NUCs, there could be MSI NUCs, there could be all sorts of different ones.
I believe Asus or Acer took over.
Oh, okay.
One of the A companies.
Maybe it's
one of the A companies.
So S-Boxes asks, which motherboard should I get? I'm planning on live streaming and gaming. Can I ask a question just to clarify your question? Are you going to be live streaming and gaming from the same PC, or are you going to be a dual PC setup?
And also, are you going Intel or AMD, or do you have that picked out yet?
I always forget there's a delay. I will always miss that about Mixer, man. Zero delay. It's live combos. We'll get an answer there in just a second. Dual PC and AMD. Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, so really, if you're not planning on doing overclocking, which it doesn't sound like you are, those AMD CPUs do really well on their own. You can go with, you know, the high-end X670 if you want, but really you could go with a mid-tier board as well. I typically only get a nicer motherboard when I plan on doing a lot of overclocking and pushing my CPU. Obviously, you want to make sure that it's got the right slots. So, assuming you have a video card, and say you maybe have a wireless card or any other cards, you know, you want to make sure it obviously has the right slots, M.2 slots if you're going that route. But really, for your build, I would go with a mid-tier board and kind of save a few bucks there.
Are you going to be doing any music stuff to where you need a sound card, or can you buy a little bit of a nicer motherboard that already has nice sound on it? Like, I would look at that too. Just like, you know, the specs of the board.
Yeah, I typically go pretty cheap with my motherboards because I don't really do much overclocking, and I don't need any sound card or anything like that.
Dude, man, this big.
I will say for my dual build, I have a pretty high end motherboard for my gaming PC, but my streaming PC, not so much. And that's only because it takes a lot less to create like, you don't need as much power when it comes to streaming compared to when you're gaming.
Okay.
Excellent question. Agent Doomsday asks, what's the ideal temperature for a CPU during use?
That's a really good question. So it will depend on your CPU, but as the newer CPUs come out, we're seeing higher and higher temps, even around like 80C while we're gaming, which seems really hot, and it is, but that seems to be the norm now. So if you have a current gen, either AMD or Intel, you know, we've seen temperatures around 80 to 90 when we're gaming that aren't super alarming or anything like that.
Yep.
Now, when it's idling, it should obviously not be that high. It should be a lot lower than that when you're idling.
Yeah. Mine says it on the motherboard. So mine's running 43C right now, and that's an i9 13900 KF. But when I'm running games that are major heat producers like Dying Light 2 or Dead Island 2 or Destiny, especially Destiny, because I'm playing up 1440 at 144 FPS, and Destiny I'm getting like 200 plus. But the CPU never seems to get over 72 for me.
3 SATAs.
Another one.
I will take that 4 SATA.
Oh, my bad.
No,
I didn't even realize. I was looking at these and I was like, wait, hold on.
Got hard drive case and fans.
Develop. Hi, how are you? So the studio right here is their studio is located in Wichita, Kansas.
Wichita.
Yeah.
I'm in Portland, Oregon, so I kind of remote in. Yep. Old P-Town. All right, now let's talk about this incredible graphics card. This is an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070. It's a 12 gig graphics card. It's got 12 gigs of DDR6X video RAM. Paul, walk us through some of the cool things about this card.
Yeah, so my favorite thing about this card is its size. This isn't a crazy huge card. This is going to fit in most cases, and it's still a 4070, which is really powerful. The other thing that I like is a single 8-pin power connector.
Woohoo!
Love that.
Yeah.
From a build standpoint, we love to see it.
Xbox X. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, other than that, it's a 2-fan model. Comes slightly overclocked from the factory. But yeah, it's just good looking graphics card.
And Xbox asks, should I get an RTX 4090 for my first build?
Whew. So, yeah, I mean, a 4090 is a great card. It is obviously pretty pricey. So if that's within your budget, I mean, go right ahead. It's going to last you a very long time. But, you know, if your budget's getting tight, make sure that it suits your needs. You might be able to, a 4080 is still a great card that can perform well, so.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah, it's all about future-proofing.
Hey, I'm done.
Future-proofing your build. That's what it is. CLX, what's up? Coming in from the ASRock US headquarters. Hello, welcome.
Hey.
Good to have you here.
What's going on, guys?
Welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. Scrappy Go Crazy asks, what would be a good PC for streaming? I can tell you my experience with that before guys answer and give you the tech. And that's just that for me, I know it's at least 16 gigs of memory in there for starters. You need a CPU that's going to be capable of obviously hyper-threading and multi-threading, and then the big thing that's really important on the streaming PC is your capture card. I'm a firm believer in all things AverMedia, but that's just me, and that's what I use. So, but from a technical standpoint, guys, what do you think is a good PC for streaming?
Yeah, so once again, it comes down to what you're going to be gaming and what you're going to be streaming. So obviously, if you're going to be doing those both on the same PC, you want to go definitely mid to high end, probably closer to the high end, something like an i7, i9, Ryzen 7, Ryzen 9, something like that. And I'd probably stick with a 4070 or greater, honestly, if I was going there. You can probably make it work with a little bit less, but that's what I would recommend.
For streaming?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it.
And yeah, shout out to Aztec for being here. Aztec makes great coolers. I love the mounting brackets you guys use. We were just talking about the Enermax cooler in this, and we wish it was more like an Aztec bracket. So,
yep, those are fast to go on. I will say when it comes to the streaming PC, so I have a Ryzen 5 3600X, 16 gigs of I believe it's DDR4. It might be DDR3 RAM, and then GTX 1070 with my AverMedia card, and I can put it does a 1440 at 144 pass through, easy peasy, not an issue. Auto converts everything down, and although it is getting older, and mine's air cooled, which is sad.
Maybe hit up Aztec.
Yeah, what's up? Can I get a cooler? All right. Look at that great cable management. One thing to keep in mind, in the event that you do need to upgrade or decide to swap out parts, or you need to change something with your build, and you see the cable management like this, do yourself a favor and take a picture with your phone before you start clipping things. Only because then you can get it back to where it was prior to you opening it back up, and make sure that you've got your cable management still in its right place. Paul, why is cable management important when it comes to the temperatures of the build?
Yeah, so from a practical standpoint, having your cables managed properly is going to have less restrictions to airflow. Honestly, not a super big deal there, though. Really, the biggest thing is just having it organized is going to allow you to troubleshoot if you ever need to a lot easier. It's going to give your system just an overall good look, which we all like to have our systems look cool. And really just upgrading later on. Having it managed properly will make all those things easier.
Yeah, I agree. And to answer your question, Agent Doomsday says, how does your system perform differently in comparison to other brands? Well, to do that and answer that question, let's take you to our website so you can kind of see what the process is for the PCs. At CLX Gaming, we love to make things as easy as possible for you to get your hands on the PC that you need, that's built the right way just for you. We're going to jump over to that website here in just a second.
Jason.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Our website configurator allows you to choose everything from the smallest build to the largest build, liquid coolers, open loop systems, you name it, we've got it. And you don't have to be a professional to do it. While you're choosing everything in here, our configurator is designed to not allow you to choose incompatible parts. You see that little green button up there? If you choose something that's not necessarily compatible with another choice you've already made, that green button is going to turn yellow and say solve conflict. So say you've put in a DDR5 board, but you chose DDR4 RAM. So when you click that, it's going to tell you, hey, these are the boards that work with this RAM, or this is the RAM that will work with that board. So that way you've got everything, and when it goes into testing, it all works and it all functions. And you can choose everything from overclocking to peripherals. We've got software and services, including you can overclock everything, choose your graphics card. In the accessories area, we've got everything from routers to t-shirts, controllers, headphones, microphones, keyboards, you name it. It's a one-stop shopping center. And the best part about this, is that a Phanteks AIO in my back one? It is a Glacier 1. So the best part about that is you get to choose everything that you need. Now, don't worry, if you're not really into building your own PC, you don't have to. We have dozens upon dozens of PCs that are ready to ship, what we call our RTS builds, and these are already tested, ready to go, looking for a new home, and who knows, yours might just be the next one they go to, which is incredible. So, for all of your PC needs, head on over to clxgaming.com. Get yourself set up for the future right now. And the reason I bring that up is because I'm going to have Paul talk about why testing is so important and what happens to each and every one of these computers once they leave. Paul, take it away.
Yeah, for sure. So once this machine powers on, the giveaway machine, any PC we build here, once it turns on, it goes to our testing integration department. So the first thing we do there is get into the BIOS, and we'll make sure our RAM speed's set correctly, all of our storage devices are showing up, and then I check a few other settings just depending on the build. After that, we load the operating system, any games that you selected on the website. If you didn't select any games, you just picked an operating system, you just get a fresh OS, no bloatware at all. So if you want just a clean install, that's what you get. After we do that and get it all loaded, we stress test the system for 12 hours. So we have a few benchmarking softwares that we use, the main one being 3D Mark, but there's a couple others that we'll use depending on the build. And that'll allow us to make sure the system's stable. If a component's going to fail, most likely it's going to fail there, and we can fix it in-house and make sure that you get a stable machine.
Yeah, and that's the best part of it. And so to answer your question about how does it perform, that's how it performs. It is just raw Windows. You get to choose everything else you put in your system. And nothing annoys me more when people put like 5 different antiviruses on there and everything else that you just never needed, never asked for, and end up having to delete anyways. So, yeah. Let's see your backup. Vamp said, yes, he said CLX definitely knows their stuff. It's a damn good pre-built outfit. Agreed.
Hey,
and this custom build is sick. It's got my logos on it. It's an all white on the inside. It's a star field on the outside. And this is actually the Earth, and it lights up. It's weird to see in this camera, but it lights up with the fans underneath. It's super lit. And the doors, to go back to this build, the doors that they just put on, this is the fun part about the Phanteks cases. Check this out.
Like, look how clean this looks. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
And if you ever need to mess with these, you don't have to take them off the hinges. They'll just open up and swivel around so you can get access to, whatever cable you need. And then when you're done, just close it back up. You got a clean looking system.
So Vamp, we did announce the winner, and that winner is I almost screwed up his name. It is Pod Diddy Sweezy. So, and again, 24 hours. There's not if does not claimed. Don't worry, we'll redraw. And once again, look at that. It's so sick, dude.
I love this. I have a custom painted Evolv for my personal rig. It's not this design, but it looks so good. I love this design. I love the blue as well. So we'll get this.
Yeah.
Put on.
And so Mythical, to build it, all you just do is go to clxgaming.com, and then as soon as you land on there, you can go right to and start building. Yep. So you just start by choosing the size, and then there you go.
It's always fun getting the hinges
I
on.
really want like a DeLorean edition.
Oh,
where
yeah,
the wings
some gold wing doors.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, that would be legit, dude. That's great.
Phanteks.
All right. Good question. Agent Doomsday says, what does the PC come pre-installed with? It's Windows, unless you ask for other games to be installed. But otherwise, it's just Windows.
Yeah, we don't put anything.
And Radical's like, why are we yelling?
How's this look, Jason?
Yes, agreed, D4.
Okay.
Agreed. Company that did it, but it was just mind-blowing. I understand and agree. My old gaming PC is very much similar to that. Yes. There we go. All right. Look at that beautiful creature.
Looks so good. So we just plugged in the power supply. So you see a little bit of RGB going on in there. That is just telling us that the system has power. The system is not turned on yet. So you can see in that sight window that we were talking about at the beginning of this build on the motherboard, that's got some there. And then we obviously have some in the bottom of the case. And we will get this thing powered on in just a sec. We're getting it framed up in our second shot.
And again, I love the RGBs coming off that motherboard, and especially you've got the little clear screen that looks right inside of that Northbridge heatsink.
With these, you can even just open these and get a little bit better look, but I'll shut this. We can open it back up once we get it turned on too.
Yeah.
So, all righty.
Good to go.
Okay.
Good to go.
Let's do it. Woo! Look at that.
See those fans? They just look
oh, the
so
fans
good.
are great, dude.
So then we should be able to do.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Another
You weren't
nice
kidding
thing
when you
about
said there was some
Evolv.
customization. Yeah.
You see that door Zack opened up, so that's where our USB ports and our buttons for our lights are, and then that closes down to give it a good smooth look. This is the Evolv X, Phanteks Evolv X.
Absolutely incredible. Let's go ahead and go over one more time what's inside this amazing PC from Michael in Missouri. This PC comes with an Intel Core i9-12900KS processor that is cooled by an Enermax 360mm AIO white RGB liquid cooler. It's got 32 gigs of DDR5-5200 RGB Geil memory, and it is all locked into an ASRock Z790 Steel Legend Wi-Fi DDR5 motherboard. The graphics come from an NVIDIA RTX 4070 12-gig graphics card, and of course our operating system is going to be installed on M.2. That's a 2TB and 970 Evo Plus. The secondary storage is a Western Digital 4TB blue hard disk drive. There are 10 Phanteks Halo RGB black fans in there, plus it's all powered by an EVGA 850-watt GT80 Plus Gold, and it also contains the black-blue Cablemod sleeves and a Creative Labs Sound Blaster Audigy FX 5.1 X1 sound card. There we go.
Sick.
Do. Oh, that's great, dude.
This looks so good.
Oh, to take off the top so they can see?
Yeah, if you would do an overhead shot, then you could like see what the fans look like.
You might go.
Oh, yeah.
See that? And that'll glow out the vents on the top.
That's great. Those look the way that the light, that ring reflects off the white is actually brilliant.
Oh, yeah,
There you go. Yeah.
Yep, that is brilliant. All right, so with that being said, our show happens in two different sections. We're going to take a break and we're going to do a break in just a few minutes. And when we come back, you're going to be able to spend your afternoon with Zack as he continues more amazing builds, starting with this big bad boy right there. And that, if I'm not mistaken, is an NV7. Yes, there we go. So you can catch up with all things going on, from our giveaways to our events to what's on sale this month at the website by following us on social media. That is TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and it's all CLX Gaming. You can catch us here on Tuesdays at CLX Gaming on Kick, and on Thursdays at CLX Gaming TV on Twitch at 11 a.m. Pacific for our live build show, where we go once again deep inside people's builds and assemble them from the ground up and answering your questions and just hanging out. If you'd like to join a bunch of like-minded PC enthusiasts and gamers, head on over to our Discord. It's discord.gg/CLX Gaming. And of course, you can find codes once we have the next event going. You can find them in all of those locations on this stream, our Twitch stream, and my Kick and Twitch streams. So there we go. Without further ado, I want to say thank you so much to everybody for joining us, and a huge shout out and thank you to to our winner again, Paddy Sweezy. Well done, congratulations, that's awesome. On behalf of everyone in production, Kyle, Jason, and of course our hosts, our in-studio techs, that is Paul and Zack. I'm DJ BluePDX. Don't go away. We've got more coming up after the break. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
so wave.